You threw out some numbers while you were at CES, like billions. The numbers were billions of smartphones that are being used around the world and that will be bought and used by 2016.
The projections are 5 billion smartphones between 2012 and 2016. So you think, okay, where are those going? Is that just going to, rich people who want to play around on the internet? The answer is no. I mean, a lot of those phones, over half of those phones in 2016 will be sold into emerging markets, and that's the way that those people are going to get onto the internet to improve their communications, their access to information, their health, like we were talking about earlier. All these kinds of things are going to happen because people lower down in the economic pyramid in emerging markets are going to have connectivity over a phone. And they won't be able to buy a PC. They don't have the money to buy a PC, but the phone is going to be cheap enough.
The smartphone may eventually even replace the laptop. Do you think so?
Laptops are sort of morphing now into tablets or tablets with connected keyboards or things like that. So you see a lot of new stuff going on in the mobile computing space, starting obviously from the smartphone. I mean, people got used to the fact that they could get their email right away on a smartphone, that the thing just turned on, it was always connected, always synchronized. That's very unlike the experience you've had with a laptop where half the time you turn it on and now you got a new security update that's downloaded and now you got to reboot and reconnect and 30 minutes later you're finally reading your first email. So the cloud it's pretty simple, right? People like to put fancy words on things. The cloud is basically the idea that you have these data centers. What's data centers? It's buildings that have lots and lots of computers in them that are connected up to the internet. And they're running something, like they're running Facebook or Google or Amazon or something like that. Now Amazon takes the computers that they run their store on, they also sell them to access to those to other companies. So other companies put their website on that. And so the idea is that from a mobile device or from a PC, you connect to computers that are doing some other thing for you somewhere else. And the thing that happens is when you talk about these huge services, I mean, you're talking about the number of users on Facebook, for example, it's huge, huge numbers. That means there's lots and lots of computers, lots and lots of hard drives and memory sitting in a bunch of different places in the world, and they are using a lot of power.
Snapdragon. People are starting to get hip now to what it is. Mostly, I think, because people are seeing it and they're seeing the branding. So if you go to a Padres game, for example, you may see Snapdragon and you go, well, I don't know what Snapdragon is. You go down to an Aztec basketball game and you see a Snapdragon advertisement. You go, I think I've heard of it, but I'm not positive what it is. And then when you were at CES, you talked about the power of this Snapdragon chip.
So the Snapdragon is an awesome new chip. I mean, this 800 is got incredible graphics performance. So it basically can do things like run a console quality video game on it. But it also, having that graphics capability means that the user interface really animates nicely. Everybody wants to touch the screen and have all this stuff happen, and people are putting fancier and fancier 3D user interfaces on and so forth. And then it has great radio capabilities built into the same chip. So you think about a processor often just in terms of what computing it can do. But this also does communications, and it does it faster. Broader bandwidth, more data can come up and down from the device to the network, and so you can have access, better access to the cloud and to all those services that you're really interested in.
It's amazing that this device is like that big.
Oh,
right?
I mean, the amount of technology that goes into a chip, it was funny. We took our board actually to Singapore to see a test center there. And the fact that people were like getting into the chip and having to slice this little teeny chip open to see, how is that thing actually made, and the amount of testing that has to go into each little function that's on that. I mean, it just blew people's minds because you look at it and it's like this little piece of plastic. You have no idea. I mean, sometimes it costs you upward of $1 billion to make one of those, the first one of those chips.
You get to meet a lot of really interesting people, right? And how did you like sharing the stage with Big Bird? Big Bird hasn't had this much publicity in 20 years.
Oh, Big Bird's great. I mean, that is the original Big Bird, the man inside there that's doing that. I mean, that's the guy. And we all grew up with that. And if you were backstage and you were looking at who was it that people wanted to get their picture taken with, Big Bird was number one. Everybody was going, hey, come on, I got to get this picture.
That's
so
great.
It was just really cool.
Do you like that stuff? Because you have become now sort of a very visible CEO. Certainly, I think San Diego's top CEO, just in terms of the international business, the economic impact that Qualcomm has. Do you enjoy that?
I got to tell you, when I started out, I didn't enjoy it at all. I mean, it was a lot of hard work for me. It wasn't something that came natural to me. Now, with over and over doing it, just again and again, yeah, it's fun, and definitely standing up on stage at CES, particularly like you were referring to. I'm sitting there leaning against the hood of an electric Rolls Royce on stage. Maroon 5's playing, I don't know, 10 feet away from me. There's 3,000 people in the audience. I just kind of looked around and said, yeah, this is sort of surreal, how did it's like that Talking Heads song, how did I get here? But it was fun,
yeah,
really fun.
It's really cool. Paul, thank you very, very much. I know you're busy and probably have some international call to make, but thanks for just a few minutes.
Thanks
really
a lot, Scott.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Take it easy.